Mark's trial started in March of 2011, and the prosecution argued that Mark wanted to be a serial killer like Dexter. And they said that this SK Confessions document was an accurate account of how he tried to kill Jill and then successfully kill Johnny. Mark's wife even testified that when Jill and Johnny were attacked, Mark had written on their family calendar that he was, quote, going to see psychiatrists, so he was out of the house. Now, Mark was the only witness for the defense, and he actually ended up confessing to killing Johnny. He still tried to say that the SK Confessions was a work of fiction, though, that he had killed Johnny in self-defense, that it wasn't some murder plot. And he said that he was making a movie about a serial killer and that he was luring these men to the garage so that he could, just pretend to attack them to get a genuine scared reaction from them, but that it wasn't ever intentional or real. He also apparently hoped his fake victims would tell people about what had happened and that it would all be, free publicity for the movie. But he said that it went completely sideways with Johnny. According to Mark, he tried that with Johnny, but when Johnny discovered that the whole thing was a hoax, he freaked out. He started attacking Mark, and because of that, Mark had no choice but to kill him in self-defense. Then, in a panic, he tried to cover his tracks, which, come on. I mean, this was the best argument that he and his lawyers could think of, right? So at the end of the trial, the jury only took 5 hours to deliberate, and they found Mark guilty of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to 25 years to life with no possibility of parole. Now, Mark was never charged with the attack against Jill. At one time, the prosecutors were thinking of bringing attempted murder charges against him, but since he was already going away to prison for Johnny's murder, possibly even for the rest of his life, a judge ended up blocking the charges from moving forward to trial. Mark's wife ended up divorcing him, but that, of course, didn't stop him from joining a dating website for inmates. And in his dating profile, he wrote, quote, I'm looking for an interesting, intelligent, open-minded, delightfully imperfect woman to relate to share amusing observations with, as well as potentially a long weekend every few months if it gets there naturally. Which, I'll be honest, I don't know if anyone ever contacted him from this dating website, but honestly, maybe somebody did. There are a lot of freaks out there. I mean, look at how people fawned over Wade Wilson. There truly are some nut jobs out there, but I don't know. Nobody sane would ever slide into that man's DMs, that's for sure, so please don't. Now, from the time that he got thrown in prison, he definitely did what he could to keep his name in the headlines and to get his story out there, because a lot of the conversation about him after his conviction was all about his motive. Some psychologists think that he got something sexual out of killing people. In SK Confessions, he talked a lot about what he was wearing, about what weapons he chose, all in, fairly sensual language too. Things like, I wanted the weapon used for the deed to be simple, elegant, beautiful. Weird stuff like that. Mark ended up sending one journalist 350 pages of letters too, and he wrote, quote, it appears that I'm unique in the world. There is no key, no root cause. If I were really capable of premeditated murder, I wouldn't target normal, healthy, well-adjusted 30-year-old men. I once heard the legend of another worthy victim. I killed Johnny in a horrific accident of self-defense. After curiosity shoving aside my human sensibilities, I dealt with his remains in a disrespectful manner that traumatized me forever. It is what it is, and I am what I am. Mark also wrote about his obsession with Dexter, and he even told this journalist that he was able to watch the show while he was in prison, which might be why Mark came to be known forever as the Dexter Killer. And it just freaks me out that there are people like that out there. It truly is unnerving. And once again, share your location with your friends. Always give an address. Meet in a public place. Be careful of who you meet online, because this is a perfect example of the kind of freakos that are out there. So, I'll end there. Thank you guys so much for hearing Johnny's story today and hearing all about evil Mark Twitchell. I know it's a scary one. It literally is still giving me goosebumps, but please, 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 guys, stay safe, okay? And if you haven't already, we do these deep dives regularly. Subscribe to the channel, and I will be back with another terrifying deep dive soon.